Hi everyone. This is going to be the pre-lab video for lab 4. It's going to be the first part of a two-part lab where we're looking at EEG data from Curran and Doyle 2011. So you guys should have already read this paper and completed the perusal assignment. Now we are going to kind of mimic their analyses in MATLAB. I know last time there were a lot of issues with MATLAB, so I'm going to strongly suggest that you use the lab desktops because we had OIT set those up and configured them so that everything is kind of like set up for this lab. So I'm gonna very strongly suggest that you use the lab desktops. But yeah, so I'm going to walk you through this kind of setup portion here, and then maybe the first part of question one, because I feel like once we get it set up, we're not going to have too many issues. So once you download the two zip files for this assignment, you're going to want to go to MATLAB and go ahead and set your path. And I'm going to see, add folder, and I'm going to go to the MATLAB folder, EEG Lab, and the EEG Lab 2022. And that is going to be the folder that I set. So I'm going to save that as my working directory, and then I can exit out. Now, after that, now we've set our working directory, set our path. We are going to take this, um, we're going to take this CD 2010 updated file, this whole folder, not just the .m file like we did last time, and not a zip file, but like a fully extracted file. And it's going to give you this pop-up here that says it's not in your file path. Don't worry about that. Just go ahead and drag it here. And once we have that set up in that window, that'll kind of like make the data and plugins available. So after that, we can go ahead and double click on the same .m file that we used last time right here. And it'll open up in this other window. You might get a prompt to open it as like a live coding file. Just click out of that because it'll try and run everything. And then we're going to kind of walk through this setup in question one real quick. So quick thing to note, make sure that as you're running these, just like we do with the R code, you're running one section at a time. So you can see here we have section 0 for setup, and then um, question 1, question 2, question 3 as we go down. So just run one section at a time. And to do that, make sure that you're running it from this section drop down and doing run section. Don't hit this run button or it'll try and run everything at once and it'll just like completely blast through everything. You won't be able to get what you need for the questions. So we'll start with the setup section. And one thing to note is you can see back here as I'm running the setup, you can see some stuff in my like command window is starting to print out. Make note of that because there are going to be a few questions where as it's running, you're going to want to copy down some information from there. So just remember that that's there too. So once we're done with the setup, I'm going to go to this question one section. And again, run section. Again, you can tell it's running because we have that little pause thing up there. And you guys might remember this from the first week. We get this kind of, you know, EEG, like raw wave kind of readout plotted. And it's really hard to read. So what we are going to do is change the number of channels to display from 120 to 10, much easier to read. And we're going to want to scroll all the way up to the channels 1 through 10. And then we're also going to change the amplitude scale to be 200, right? So now it's a lot easier to kind of see, right? And yeah, so from there, you guys are going to kind of navigate these types of windows by scrolling through, kind of like the time of the wave files and kind of, yeah, parsing apart what's weird, what's different, and just yeah, running through the code for questions 1 through 9.2.